Hello, everybody. Joe Becca Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Tsukihime Remake. You can probably tell, uh, I'm I'm a little not feeling it right now. It's nothing serious. Just it's Monday. Monday is fun day, and oh boy, you know what? You know what really gets me going? What's so much fun is getting absolutely fucking shit on first thing in the morning at work, all the way to the end of the day. And just nonstop, like in the Dempsey role, but I'm not the one doing it. I am on the receiving end of like an EPO attack with the jet engine noises, but like all the impact frames are like my face getting distorted and like my mouth guard flying out and losing teeth. It's it's been an experience. But it's over. I'm at home now. They can't hurt me anymore. Except for this weekend, because they're having me work this weekend. So they can hurt me then, but not now. Not until then. That's future me who's gonna get hurt. Present me is fine. They're safe. Nothing can hurt me here, except for the fact that it's kind of cold in my room. I had to crank up the heat a little bit, which it was on, but I got a shitty old furnace, and it probably doesn't help that I have my thermostat literally right next to my lamp. So the thermostat's always warm because it's got a nice like what's the energy efficient bulbs? They got the gas in them that I've had on for like 4 years straight, and I've never had to change it. One of those right next to the thermostat, so it stays nice and warm because it's in a little nook too. One, it's in a corner, but two, it's also right under where my stairs turn 90 degrees. Uh, about what is that, like 7 feet up? So there's like a 45-degree slope in the ceiling right above the lamp, so it traps all that heat. So the thermostat thinks it's warmer than it is and cuts off the heat when it's really like 55 degrees. It thinks, yeah, it's 65. We don't need to waste any gas. And I'm sitting here going, yes, we do. We need to waste more gas. Destroy the ozone layer, expand the hole, give everyone melanoma, raise the temperature of the sea levels. I'm cold. It also probably doesn't help that I had a coupon for a fruit smoothie at like one of those smoothie places that I can't remember the name of, but they also have these really good Hawaiian sliders. Uh, and they're like really big smoothies. Like the standard smoothie size is what you'd consider a large anywhere else, and they're really cheap for their size. They're like $6-7. But I drank the whole thing, and then I was cold because I'm sitting around in my oh god, what am I even wearing right now? Okay, we'll go bottom up. Really, really titillate you guys before this episode starts. Get the blood pumping. So I got my knockoff Crocs, uh, and I'm wearing my green military socks pulled up most of the way up my like lower legs. I'd say they're a little more than half, but not like 3/4. 2/3. Is it even 2/3 though? Let me look at it. Yeah, that's about between like 3/4 and 2/3 of the way up. Uh, no pants. Wearing what would you even consider? They're like boxer brief, athletic, like spandex underwear, I guess. They're quick wick, which helps when I'm working. The only thing is that because it's that like that athletic-y quick wick material, it causes my shirt to slide up even though I have like my belt cinched, because my shirt's also that material. So if you've ever slept on silk bed sheets and had a silk, like, well, also a bed sheet, but not like the one you're sleeping on, but the one that goes between you and the comforter, and it's like ice on ice, they're just sliding every which way. It's like that when my shirt's trying to stay tucked in. So I'll be working, and then it's like, oops, like the the bottom of my back is cold, showing off my tramp stamp. Then I got my t-shirt on, and then on top of it all, I got my big fluffy robe because it's cold and I'm trying to relax. And nothing's more relaxing than wearing my Crocs inside with socks on because I'm a freak like that. But yeah. Anyway, how are you guys doing? I hope your day's been better than mine. Yesterday was all right. I kind of slept in. I wasn't really feeling it either. But that's just because I wanted to play 14 all day, which I did. I'm currently leveling my DPS classes in Shadowbringer, which, God, oh man, it's so nice playing tank and healer, and then you jump over to DPS and you just get shit on with like 25-minute queue times to run a single dungeon, and you're just running around trying to find something to fill the time, either doing like all the little area side quests that you never got around to, or you're just doing fates because you can get a little XP that way, or you honestly just put the game down and open up something on your phone and just wait for to get the notification noise that the queue's ready and you've got a party set up. It's hellish. I'm not looking forward to it because I have, God, how many other DPS classes? 4 physical DPS. 1, 2, 3. God, like 3 magic ranged DPS, and then like 1.5 more physical range DPS. Ugh, that's gonna take me like a month to do. Because I can really only play a hardcore like that on the weekends. Because when I get home from work, I do this, and then after that, it's like almost 8 o'clock, and I could put in like 2 hours if I really wanted to try, but I prefer to be in bed by 10, asleep by 11, and if I'm only gonna play for an hour, like I'm not even gonna get done with my dailies, and it just feels like a waste of time when I could do something else to waste my time for an hour, but something where at least I feel like I get something done, even though I'm still not. It's weird. It's all about tricking your brain into thinking you're like moving down the checklist, even though you're just standing in place or walking in circles. But that's really all I got to do my beginning of the episode ramble, because we're running out of time because it's already 8 minutes in, and I feel like I haven't even talked about anything of subsequence. So we'll just hop into the episode. But first, hold on, let me pour some whiskey. I got my bottle of Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select Tennessee whiskey on my desk. For some reason, I had it wedged between my desk and the sidewall. It wasn't like I was hiding it, and I don't know why it was there, but it was. And it's not like I drink a lot, so it wasn't like I was in a drunken stupor and misplaced it. I think I just put it down there so it wouldn't fall off the desk, and then forgot about it for like 3 months because it had a good layer of dust on it. But fortunately, it's whiskey. It's not like it's gonna go bad sitting there. Yeah. And I'm all out of coffee, so I really need to buy more coffee. I've been out of coffee for like 2.5 weeks. I just don't want to stop to anywhere on my way home. I just want to get home and like take off my pants and get comfortable. I don't want to go to Dunkin's. I don't want to go to the grocery store. I don't want to go to Wawa. I just want to be here with you guys over the internet, riding the electronic waves into your hearts. Anyway, moving on. So it's always extra awkward when there's no background music and I'm just left here to fill the void. All right, we're getting on to 10 minutes. No more rambling. Hard cutting myself off. I still feel strangely depressed, even after school is over. There's no one else in the classroom. After school club activities have been suspended because of the serial killer, so most students have gone home. Silence has retaken the school. Looks like Ciel is true to her word. There's not a single sign that she'll be coming.
いや、別に気にしてないし。
Sun 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 sun.
単に休んでいただけだし。もうさっさと帰るからな。
I mumbled to no one in particular.
メール？
My phone goes off as I leave the classroom to go home. I take my phone out of my bag. He's like, I don't have any friends. Who'd be texting me? Unexpectedly, the text is from Miss Noel. All it says is this. Are you free right now? There's something I want to show you. Don't tell Ciel, Kay. I was about to say, like, where's the heart emoji? And there it is. Attached is an address, along with a screenshot of a map. Well, why not? I don't know what she wants, but it might take my mind off things. If I go back to the mansion like this, I'll probably just be depressed all night. Yeah, you know, the girlfriend's being a bitch anyway. Why not go to the strip club? The abandoned factory outside town that shut down a few years back. Administrative building, 4th floor. That's where the message said to meet.
ここでいいんだよな。
Oh, cool. Noelle's into, like, urban exploration. How fun. Maybe there's, like, some cool graffiti up there. I'm standing in front of a fire escape. This is a pretty sketchy meeting place, but I know I've got the right address. I shove all the doubts back down. It'd be stupid to leave now after coming all this way. Might as well head up the stairs. If Miss Noelle's not there, then I'll just go home. I begin to climb the rusted stairs, careful not to make a sound. With the whole building having been abandoned, the stairs are in disrepair.
これ崩れないだろうな。
I'd be more worried about getting tetanus. I gingerly put one foot in front of the other. Then, I hear something moving. Can't be the sound of the wind.
今の足音。上からだな。
The sound gets louder the further I go up. Before long, I reach the 4th floor. A metal door stands before me. My hand goes to the doorknob, which turns easily. It's unlocked. I hear the sound of noise coming from within. Is this like a tap dancing group or something? You know, some real hipster shit? Which is why it's going on in an abandoned factory. I open the door and peer into the room. It's dark, completely closed off from the outside. Naturally, there's no electricity, so all the lights are off. But deep inside, I see several flashes of light.
ノエル先生。
I call out before entering.
来てくれたのね、四季くん。ごめんなさい、迎えに行けなくて。とにかく入って入って。
Noelle, I think someone's like clipping into the floor and their like geometry is spazzing out. The game physics don't like it. Miss Noelle's voice cuts through the darkness. I guess this was the right place after all. As I let go of the doorknob, the weight of the door causes it to close on its own. I squint my eyes in the dark. Before I even have a chance to wonder what's in the room, I instinctively cover my nose. The familiar stench assails my nostrils. The sticky floor squelches under my feet. I slip my knife into my sleeve for easy access and proceed towards the back of the room. And there, I was about to say, is that like Roa chained up? There I see 2 vampires, each gagged and bound to a chair, their bodies twitching and convulsing. It was just the outline. It looked like his hair, but I don't think it is. These 2 are the source of the stench. The noise I heard coming from them smashing their heels against the floor in an attempt to ease their suffering. Their feet are sizzling, scorched by the light enclosing the chairs. Foam flows out from their gags and drips down their chin, involuntary response to the pain of being burned alive. How long have they been roasting like this? The muscles around their throats are so taut from the constant screaming that the bone is showing through. The writhing bodies are covered in blood. It pours out from wounds not only sustained from struggling against their bonds, but carved into them by too many bees by a variety of instruments.
こっちよしきくん。シエルさんには内緒にしてくれた？
You got some weird hobbies, girl. Like these aren't my tags, not gonna lie. Blood and flesh splatter the floors and walls. The air in the room feels just like it did in those passages under the department store. In the middle of it all is Noelle, smiling from ear to ear as she looks down at the two men tied to the chairs.
ノエル先生。
The thought of even asking what this is makes me sick. Instead, I implore the woman in front of me to explain through my gaze alone.
わからない？しきくんには何度も助けられたし、いい機会だから私たちのお仕事を見せてあげようと思って。それにほら、この子たちのこと覚えてる？
No. She didn't even have to ask. I recognized them right away. The two of them tied to the chairs are the same two that led me below the department store. Oh, those guys. Hey.
そういうこと。私だけで始末してもいいんだけど、あなたもこいつらには貸しがあるでしょ？だから仕返しさせてあげようと思って。
I think we're good.
はーい。お待ちかねの懺悔タイムよ、君たち。もう誰もやってこないし、防音は完璧だし、無粋なおしゃぶりは取っちゃいましょうね。
She takes the gag off one of the vampires. The vampire makes a wet, guttural noise like a clogged pump spewing water. It coughs violently as it spits up the saliva and blood that was trapped in its mouth, and looks up at its captor. Its eyes are filled with neither hate nor bloodlust. Such defiance was a glimmer of hope that faded many hours ago.
嫌なんです。死にたくない。死にたくない。せっかく不死身になったのに、こんなところで死にたくない。
No. Some of those other guys, I kind of felt bad for, but you guys have a pretty active role in, what Vlav had going on, so no.
もうやめてください。許してください。助けてください。こんなのってないです。
You do. Okay, maybe all this is a little much, but
俺たちだって被害者なんです。
He's nothing but a miserable wretch now. So weak, so fragile. It's barely one step away from death. It begs for mercy with every fiber of its being, prays desperately for life. Humans have a tendency to sympathize with the weak no matter the situation. They also possess the intelligence to judge the present independently of the past. The treatment of criminals is one example of this. No matter how great the atrocity committed, a powerless prisoner may be granted a chance at forgiveness and a new life. Denying them this mercy or allowing it is an act of human kindness. Allowing it is an act of human kindness is a right that belongs solely to the victims. Denying them this mercy or allowing it is an act. Okay, gotcha. Red. The woman has no mercy. After listening to the weakling begging for its life, she begins her meticulous work, torturing it in accordance with the number of its pleas. She starts from the fingers, looking to the wrist, then the elbow, finally the shoulder before switching sides. Once its other arm is gone too, she swaps out her tools and sets to work on its insides. No longer interested in cutting and crushing, she takes up tools for stabbing and burning. It's as though she's cooking. She's like a chef laying a live fish, only with entirely different techniques and principles. The chef employs a measure technique to cut the fish without killing it, based on the principle that it should be kept as fresh as possible, which I also have moral qualms with. Yes, I will kill my lobster before I throw them in the pot, even if the end result is still the same. But not this woman. For one thing, she has no technique to speak of. The only reason her catch is still alive is because of its natural tendency. Though it could be argued that she is driven by a certain culinary principle. That is, the goal of savoring her meal. She is processing it alive, leaving its vocal organs intact to the very end, just so she can savor its every scream.
やべ、入れないで、戻し入れないで、その蓋を閉じないで。
Ew. Oh no, you went in the hydraulic press. The screams stop before long. Not because it has died, but because its body no longer occupies the chair. The woman has taken the vampire's body apart piece by piece, leaving only the head alive. She stuffs all of its parts into a 50-centimeter square box and shuts the lid. The other vampire's face is twisted in horror, having watched it all from beginning to end. Or rather, having been forced to watch it all. Their eyelids have been removed, making it impossible for them to avert their gaze. Gusts of wind seeped in blood howl through the room. A desperate scream, no doubt a plea for life, spills out of an opening in its gag.
どう？この海底の吸血鬼に痛覚はないんだけど、特別にこいつらにも通じる道具で
Oh, they
バ
don't
ラバラにして
normally
あげて
feel
るの。
pain, but your special tools make them. I don't know about this Ciel. Like you, I mean not Ciel, Noel. Sorry. Both nuns, both got the L end of their name. Easy mistake to make. You know, just got Ciel on the brain. Teehee. Don't look too deep into it. You're much younger? Question mark? And prettier than her? Just buttering up here. Yeah, this ain't really my thing. Sorry, like Dempa fans. There's gonna be no gore screaming show on this channel, most likely. That's when we're getting to the real niche stuff, or the guy who like. What's the other one with like the 3 girls and he's crazy or something, and then spoiler for it, it's like they're not even real. Whoa.
たった1日の審問時間
But
しか
then
ない
it's
ん
like
だもの。
when you think
これ
back
ぐら
and
い
it's
はや
like
らないと
does that
こ
mean
の
he
子たち
fucked
に
the
騙さ
cat?
れて殺された人たちの無念は晴らせないでしょ。
The woman takes her eyes off the vampire and approaches me, her every step accompanied by a squish. In her hand, she holds an antique tool resembling a coping saw. What is a coping saw? I don't know. Let me see if I can get it up and see what it looks like. Okay, it's a hacksaw, or like a bone saw. You know, the really, really thin, sharp blade on a handle with the kind of U bracket holding it in place.
さあ、四季君もどうぞ。
I think we'll just kind of poke his death line or something.
これは洗礼済みの器具だから素人が使っても効能は発揮されるわ。切れ味は悪いけどその分頑丈で吸血鬼は触れた箇所から焼かれていくから返り血も出ない優れものよ。
Oh, but what if we get like weird Pavlovian associations with the smell of like burning human flesh? It'd be like,
いき
barbecue.
なり首を切るのも悪くないけど初めはやっぱり小指からの方が簡単だからできるだけ苦しめて殺しちゃって。
She offers me the saw. I don't know, man. This seems like really bad. I really don't want to do this. Yeah. This is kind of weird.
とてもじゃないが付き合えない。
I push the woman's hand away. The force behind my hand is unexpectedly strong, propelled by my revulsion towards her.
へえ、何？悪趣味ってどのあたりが？
Yes.
もしかして、でも、その割には落ち着いてるわよね、四季君。
Well, you eventually, like, just loop around past the point of it being so fucked up where you just can think logically again because it's so surreal.
普通に生きてきた人間なら、この部屋に入っただけでも大友なのに、さっきからこいつらじゃなくて、私にしか注意を払ってないし。
Well, it's because you just look so pretty.
趣味がおかしいのは私だけじゃないと思うけど、それとも性癖がバレないようにいい子ちゃんぶってるとか？
I mean, little column A, little column B. I stop myself from letting her taunt provoke me. I don't pretend to be a good person. What disgusts me about this is that the results don't justify the effort.
殺すのなら無駄なく殺すべきだ。俺は人間
Yeah, too
を
much
襲う
flourish.
吸血鬼を殺したいだけで、いたぶりたいわけじゃない。
はあ？人間を襲う吸血鬼を殺したい？バックじゃないの？それがいい子ちゃんぶってるって言うのよ。
Mm-hmm.
吸血鬼は何であれ殺すの、死ぬの。考えられる限りの傷を重ねて、自分からもう殺してくださいって懇願するまで苦しめるものなんだってば。
Well, from her perspective, you know, all vampires attack humans eventually. You know, you're just nipping a future problem in the bud. It's just she's a little extreme. Her gaze remained fixed on me as she casually throws a weapon at the chair beside her. The weapon pierces the vampire through the groin. Ooh! Its muted anguish reverberates through the concrete. Foam bubbles around its mouth like a pot boiling over.
さあ殺して。相手は何もできない生肉よ。あなたが今まで殺してきた死者より簡単な作業でしょ。
I mean, honestly, yeah, I'd just kill him at this point to get it over with, like...
違うのは、あれは人間らしい知性があって、人間らしい悲鳴を上げて、人間らしい生活をしてたってことだけじゃない。
Like, I know you wronged me, dude, but come on, bygones are bygones. Let me do you a favor and just, you know, put you out.
人の痛みが
Send you
わ
to the
かる
farm
相
up
手なら
north.
人間の痛みを味わってから無残に落ちぬべきなのよ。
There's hatred in her eyes. It isn't directed at the vampire, but at me for not taking the saw. Noelle's rancor is a response to my disapproval of her methods, and to her own weakness in nearly letting herself be swayed by me.
じゃあどうするの？もしこいつがもう人間は襲わないなんて誓ったら見逃してあげるの？生かしてあげるの？
I mean, this guy? No. But, you know, if it was one of our, like, 6.5 out of 10, you know, kind of classmates, then maybe we could be
信
swayed.
じられない。こいつらが何人罪もない人間を餌食にしてきたと思ってるの？
You know, like, even if they're real plain and kind of forgettable,
なのに、
don't really
た
have
だ
much
人
going
間っぽ
on.
いって理由だけで人間扱いしてやるの？君は。
If they're nice, you know, I can maybe look the other way. As long as I haven't done anything yet. I can't deny it. The man in front of me absolutely did try to kill me. Who knows how many people he killed in the same way? That's not the issue at hand. What this woman is saying is, those who become vampires must not be allowed to live. They have no human rights. Whatever they may be, they have lost the right to exist. That kind of thinking is not something I can agree with. I may not be able to avoid killing in self-defense if I cross paths with a vampire who feeds on humans, or a walking natural disaster like Vlog. But if I come upon a vampire who doesn't attack people and wishes to live like a human, I see no reason to kill it. Going that far just isn't in me.
ああ、そう、わかったわよ。私がやるわよ。こんな国でのんきに生きてる君に期待しちゃった私が間抜けってわけね。
Yeah, sorry we don't have historical trauma and baggage about vampires.
せめてそこで見張り役でもやっといて。かかしみたいに突っ立って、こいつらの末路をよーく覚えておくがいいわ。
The woman turns her back to me and walks towards the vampire tied to the chair. She takes off its gag.
助けてください。助けてください。
Heart-wrenching pleas spill out of the creature's mouth. Maybe it really would swear to change its ways. It might atone for its sins if that meant it could escape the nightmare of being all sorts of different things by the woman standing before it. Like a man whose hands are tainted by countless sins suddenly awakening to the Father's love and becoming a devout believer.
ダメ。あなたは死ぬの。というか死ぬの。死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの死ぬの。
I know it's probably like cultural literary, there we go, too many syllables in that word, technique differences, but I think this is just, you see it in a bunch of Japanese media. I think it's just really ham-fisted. The dissection begins. Actually, it would be a vivisection because he's still alive. That's the only difference. A dissection is of a dead thing. A vivisection is of a living thing. Ear-splitting screams fill the air. The woman's work grows more intense by the minute. The first vampire had it easier. Once handling it with care, she now brandishes her tools wildly. Her meticulous dissection becomes a brutal dismemberment. The vitriol flying from her mouth makes it impossible to tell which of the two is the devil. Yeah, get over it. Let it all out.
吸血鬼も吸血鬼のなり損ないも吸血鬼になるやつもみんな汚らわしいウジ虫と同じなんだから
Well, you could really do with one of those, oh God, what are they? I can't remember the names of them. I think they're fairly new. But they're essentially like rooms you can go to where you can just like, they have stuff in there that you can break. Like, I don't know if they give you a bat or like a sledgehammer, but you can just swing it around and like break shit to like let out your frustration.
ねえ、そうでしょ私の言っていること
Something like that.
わかるわよね、四季君。吸血鬼になった者は速やかに死ぬべきなの。こいつらはゴミ以下なの。病原菌なの。ただそこにいるだけで汚物を垂れ流す害悪なのよ。
Not entirely wrong. She picks up an iron weapon sitting in the corner of the room. This has gone beyond dissection, beyond even torture. The halberd, nearly 2 meters long, scrapes against the walls and ceiling as the woman raises it and brings it down on the vampire. Bone and flesh is crushed with a dull thump. The vampire's body is flattened along with the chair. Ooh, she like smacked it with the flat. This savage act disintegrates the chains that bound its arms and the chair and sends the sword stuck into the floor flying. Now free, the vampire's upper half begins to frantically crawl away.
ほら、見てよこのありさま。ゴキブリみたい。こんなになってもこいつらは死なないの。気持ち悪い気持ち悪い
To be fair,
気持ち
cockroaches
悪い
suck.
気持ち悪い。こんなの生きてる価値もない。
No live and let live with cockroaches because they like actively spread disease. With that, the second dissection comes to an end. The second body won't go in a box. There's no point in even trying to stuff it in. It's been crushed beyond all recognition. The woman looks down, her back to me.
ほら、やっぱり私の方が正しいじゃない。吸血鬼は害悪なんだって。だから、もし自分がそうなんだって分かったときは、
Uh-huh.
死んで、自分から死んで、みっともなく泣き叫びながら、死にたくないって謝りながら、首をかっきって。
I mean, realistically, probably, yeah, good advice. You know, go out on your own terms before you truly become the monster.
それができないなら、糞尿を漏らしながらひざまずいて、何度も何度も命乞いをした後、私に首を差し出して。
Can we not do the piss and shit part? You know, you gotta pay extra for that. The woman spews venom with eyes clouded over. The halberd drops to the floor with a clang. She takes a deep breath. Her shoulders, which were just rising and falling violently, grow still.
なんてちょっと脅かしすぎちゃった？四季君たら危機感が薄いからお姉さんついやりすぎちゃった。
Noel, do you need to talk? Like we can go somewhere, kind of like change a setting, and you know, if you got some stuff that's bothering you, well, we can listen. She's like a completely different person. Like an evil spirit possessing her has left, and the Miss Noel I know has returned. Gonna be honest, Noel, that date sucked. Like, let's not do that again. We leave the building and go down to the sunlit alleyway. Miss Noel suggested it, saying we wouldn't be able to have a proper conversation in that room. Yeah, like I said.
使徒と戦うってことがどんなことなのかちゃんと教えておこうと思って。
Maybe like a dramatic, kind of brooding, like heavy conversation on a fire escape at sunset. Like, that's a little more fitting than the snuff room.
ほら保健室で四季君シエルさんの意見に文句がありそうだったからそれでピンときたの。あなたは私と同じで吸血鬼から町を守りたい人なんだって。
Yeah, but the methods of going about it are a bit
なら
different.
お互いの心情は知っておくべきじゃない？
Protecting the town from vampires. I have no objections to that, though I'm not sure where it falls on our list of priorities. But with the depravity I just witnessed still weighing on my mind, I find myself unable to fully agree.
俺の心情は単純ですよ。知ってしまったから無視できないし、先輩の助けになりたいだけです。それより、ノエル先生は反対しないんですか？シエル先輩は、一般人は吸血鬼には関わらせないと言っていました。
Yeah, well, you're not really regular, so.
なんで？吸血鬼を殺すのはいいことだし、特別な力があるのなら人々のために使うべきでしょ？教会の代行者だからとか、普通の男子生徒だからとか、そんなの関係ないわ。私は四季君の勇気に拍手を送りたい気分だけど。
Do we at least get like a cool medal afterwards? Like a pat on the back or a certificate? She's completely on board with me looping me into their affairs. I thought the same thing back in the nurse's office, but the two of them seem to be at odds. Ciel tells me not to fight. Miss Noel tells me I should. I'm starting to feel like I owe Ciel an apology. Comparing their opinions side by side, it's easy to see who is acting out of a humane concern for my well-being.
それにしてもシエルさんにも困ったものね。事態を一日でも早く収束させることが最善の手段なのに、四季君の協力を拒んだり、優先度の低い調査を始めたり、気が緩んでるんじゃないかしら。ま、それも演技なんでしょうけど、あの冷酷な悪魔がたった数日で変わるはずがないんだし。
冷酷って、シエル先輩のどこが？
Oh, what? You're gonna be like, huh, you thought that was bad. You should have seen Ciel back in the day. I'm curious about what she said, of course, but the way she's acting has caught my attention, too. It's just a hunch, but I feel like there's a truth hidden in her mumbling.
ほら分かってない。あの子が誰にも優しい、底抜けの善人だとでも思っていたんでしょ？ほんとバカらしい。あれはただの掃除屋で、人間らしい感情なんてありっこないの。いい意識くん。あの子の笑顔は全部作り物だから。
You know, some of it is.
その方が仕事を進めやすいからそうしてるだけで。君だって騙されているだけなのよ。
Look, you gotta put on the mask sometimes. You can't be your true self 100% of the time, otherwise, you know, things just stop going smoothly. My body lurches forward unconsciously, but I can't refute her words. How can I defend Ciel when I just picked a fight with her earlier today?
あら、思うところがあったみたいね。 君もうすうす感づいてたってこと？
Well, you know, your first couple meetings were all fake, so.
ちょっと脅かして様子を見るだけだったけど、そういうことなら私も踏み込ん。四季君、シエルさんのことを知りたいんでしょ？
Sure, give us a plot dump.
あの子がどんな人間なのか、どうせあの子は話さないだろうから、特別に私が教えてあげる。
God, you are one catty bitch, just like spilling rumors behind someone's back. There's a hint of malice in Miss Noel's smile. Warning sirens go off in my head, telling me that this isn't something I should listen to, fighting against this impulse to know more about Ciel. But I can't resist. Seeming to enjoy the conflict she sees raging inside me, Miss Noel begins to tell me about Ciel's past.
私たち代行者は2人1組が基本だけど、狩りの成功率は高くない。大抵どちらかが死ぬか、両方とも殺されて終わりって世界よ。
Womp womp.
もし10年以上代行者をやってるやつがいたら、そいつはそれだけで立派な異常者として扱われる。心が壊れているか、とっくに吸血鬼化しているのに隠しているとか、
God, I feel like their like
まあ
knees or backs
いろいろ
would
陰
just
口
go
言わ
out.
れるわけ。
You know, doing shit like this for 10 years.
そんなひどい
Before the
職場
vampires
で
even get them.
あの子は何体もの吸血鬼を殺してきた。どんなにひどい使徒が相手でも生き残る。
She's literally built different.
どんなにずる賢い使徒が相手でも正体を突き止める。成功率は実に 100%。 ほとんど奇跡よ、こんなの。あの子が鬼子の扱いじゃなきゃ聖女認定されてるくらい。
Yeah.
まあ
Pre-existing
それがで
conditions
きたのは
kind of, you
ほ
know,
んと
pre-exclude her
単
from
純な
that.
理由なんだけど、それはまた後で話すとしましょう。
Knows how
代
they
行者
think.
シエルの名前は
Takes
人
one
た
to
ち
know
にも
one.
知れ渡ってる。13歳で代行者になった吸血鬼狩りのエリート。代行者になってからもひたすら使徒を殺し続けて、ついには埋葬機関にまでスカウトされた。
Yeah,
吸
after they,
血
you
鬼
know,
を殺すため
took her
だ
out
け
of
に
the
生きて
torture
るマ
basement.
シン。君も見たでしょ？グローブなんて怪物と渡り合っていたもう一人のモンスターの姿を。
You know, just had to break her down a little bit so they could build her back up. I feel compelled to deny what she's saying, but I can't stop the story here. And strangely, although Miss Noel is describing Ciel as a monster, her voice doesn't sound condescending. If anything, it's filled with reverence.
ああ、埋葬機関っていうのは私たちにとってそうね、教会の中の治外法権。権力に近寄れない代わりに権力に縛られない、
They can just kind
動
of do
く
whatever.
武器庫みたいなものと思って。ごく少数で組織された公安警察みたいな。
Yeah, no red tape.
埋葬機関は他の秘跡会と連携を取る局長とその局長に管理される7人の代行者で構成されている。
Oh, that's it?
本当は予備の代行者がもう一人いて、実践要員は8人いるらしいんだけど、大司教から自由行動の特権を許されたのは7人だけ。それ以上増やすのは危険と判断されたのね。
That's weird, but okay.
局長ナルバレックを筆頭に集まったそれぞれが一つの秘跡界に匹敵する聖人のなり損ない。
Pretty sure Narbarek became a dead apostle themselves, but let's just move past that.
枢機卿ノイセオナトール・グランファテマ、司祭アンドレイ・ゴット・ビバーク、シスターキアラ・キッショーイン、
Let's not
エ
dwell
ク
on
ソシ
that.
ストミスター・ダウン。5人目は知らないけど6人目が代行者アーガレオン、そして最後が私たちの知っているあの子、弓の称号を贈られた第7位
Cool.
代行者シエルってこと。
Bo.
あの子は殺したわよ。私なんか比べ物にならないぐらい殺してきた。相手が女子供でも容赦なく殺してきた。 代
Well, you know,
行者
they're
になってから
vampires, is what
吸
it
血
is.
鬼狩りをしてない日はないんじゃないかってぐらいに。
Lawful combatants and all that.
1日、1週間、1ヶ月、何の不平も不満もなくあの子は淡々と仕事をこなしてきた。私が聞いた中で一番長かったのはたった一人の使徒を殺すために 1年間その町の下水路に潜伏していたって話。
Damn, she likes the suck.
その人は町そのものを監視できる異能があって、部外者や異常に敏感な人だった。
What is it, just be there for so long you blend into the background and it can no longer detect you?
で、あの子が選んだ手段は排水溝からの侵入と潜伏。
Oh, that's
下
it.
水路すら
Just
人にとって
didn't care
は
about
血
the
管みたいな
sewers.
ものだったけど、
It's like it.
その
Ew.
血管の中を流れる汚物にまでは感覚が届かなかったのね。
It's like I really don't care about knowing about every single turd that floats down the pipes.
奇跡も魔術も使えば感知される状況だったから、あの子は黒剣のエオインに飲み込んで下水に入っていった。この国の整備された下水じゃない。
Mhm.
汚物で詰まったヨーロッパの下水路で
Bloop.
体を汚水に浸して顔だけを水面に出してギリギリの呼吸をして、ただ機会を待ち続ける1年間。ほんと想像するだけで寒気がする。
Yeah, you probably get used
こ
to
の
it
件
after
ば
a
っかり
point.
は吸血鬼に同情するわ。町を完全に支配下に置いて、やってきた代行者も全員殺して、ようやく自由に闊歩できると安心しきった人が広場に踏み出した瞬間、下水溝の網の下から
That's kind of
私
a
と
cool
組むまで、
story.
あの子はずっとそんな調子だった。わかる？吸血鬼を殺すことだけに特化した非人間。それがシエルなの。私たちと同じ普通の人間だなんて思わない方が身のためよ。
Ah, she's got that hard exterior shell you need to get past. Even if she might be mostly shell at this point. You know, there's probably still a little something left there in the middle. I had my suspicions, but Ciel's past is beyond what I could have imagined. It's natural that Arcuate hates Ciel, and that Ciel sees Arcuate as her enemy. But even so, I can't think of her as someone whose sole purpose is to kill vampires.
先輩のことは分かりました。でもノエル先生は
Yeah, what's your deal?
先生も代行者なら先輩と同じなんですか？
私が？冗談やめて。あんなのと一緒にしないで。
Yeah, she's just a little low-class minion.
私はいたって普通の人間よ。あんな風に周りを騙せないし、割り切ることだってできない。そもそも代行者としての才能がなかったの、私。修道院に
No,
3
you're
年
just a
入っ
washout.
てやっと半人前だった。
You see them all the time. They're like special forces washouts who get kind of butthurt because it's usually not even something that was their own fault. It's like, oh, I got hurt during training, like I rolled my ankle, and then they kicked me out of the special forces program, and now I'm you know, CE dirt boy. I dig ditches with a backhoe, and like come in to move gravel. Some of them are fine. They just accept their lot and like, you know, do my service is what it is. But other ones are, they get a real chip on their shoulder about it.
それでも人並みには頭が回ったから、司祭様に取り入って2年かけてやっと代行者になったの。それから2年ぐらい経った後かな、あの子と知り合ったのは。あの子は埋葬期間に入ったばかりで相棒がいなかった。私は頼りになる相棒が欲しかった。
Mm-hmm.
ほら、あとはわかるでしょ。
Oh,
同
you
郷の
are?
よしみもあ
Huh.
ったし、私たちは晴れてチーム成立。それから5年、あの子の活躍のおかげで
I
私は
have
まだ生き延びてる。
questions about that if you're from the same town as her, but of how that's possible. Hold up. Stop right there. I heard a few questionable things throughout her story, but this set my alarm bells ringing. Did she just say 5 years?
ちょっと待ってください。
It's like, wait, how old is she?
先輩と5年も一緒だったんですか？
そう言ったつもりだけど、私たち5年来の師弟関係だもの。
でもそれじゃ
He's got all his fingers and toes out like, huh? What? How do I put this?
年齢が合わないでしょ。当然よ。あの人、あの時から年を取ってないの。
He's like, oh shit, I'm being groomed. By both of you. plant my feet firmly, fighting the urge to pass out from shock. She hasn't changed in 5 years. Can't tell if that's the truth or a lie. Can't even tell what about the 5 years has me so dumbfounded.
そんなそれじゃあまるで
そう吸血鬼と同じよね。
Yeah, it's a little
でも
different.
あの子は吸血鬼とは違う。だって完全な不老不死なんだもの。
My breath catches in my throat. True immortality? That's insane. This Noel has to be lying. Not even vampires have been able to achieve that.
いいえ、あの子は本当に何をやっても死なないのよ。殺しても蘇る。体が燃え尽きて灰になっても元通りになっている。
Mm-hmm.
何が起きてもあの姿のまま生き続ける。
She'll still feel it, though.
あの子はね、
Oh, she'll feel it.
分類的には吸血鬼なのよ。私たちと違って一つの命にすがっていない。
Mm-hmm.
だから死を怖がらず目的を達成するまで永遠に走り続ける。
But she doesn't have the blood-sucking tendencies, so she's given a pass.
成功率 100% の理由ってこういうこと。簡単でしょ。あの子に狙われた吸血鬼はもう絶対に逃げられないんだから。
じゃあノエル先生とシエル先輩は。
そう、私が弟子で、彼女が師匠よ。さっきのやり方だってあの人の真似事。いえ、あの人の手札はもっと凄惨かな。
Like they say, it's best not to know 100% about your partner's
あ
past.
の人大抵の拷問は体験済みだから、やられるのもやるのも寒気がするほど上手なのよ。分かってくれた？代行者シエルは吸血鬼と同じ化け物なんだって。人のことを何とも思っていない殺戮者。でも
Yeah,
吸血鬼を殺して回る分だけは
Probably like working out her
生きていていい権利
issues
がある。
in those kinds of sessions there. Seems to be the point Noelle was building up to. She's like, yes, I am just a mirror for the other side of Ciel that you do not see. If you hate me, then you also hate Ciel. Like, feel the turmoil and the maelstrom in your chest as your emotions spiral and swirl. I claw my chest, spurring my lungs back into action. I can't believe myself. What does it matter what kind of person Ciel is, or if she's really immortal or not? I'm furious that I let Noelle's words get under my skin.
今にも倒れちゃいそうね、四季君。
He's got a bad heart.
やっぱ
Leave
り
him
ショック
alone.
だった。
頭にくるぐらいショックです。それよりなんだってこんなことを話す気になったんですか、先生は。
Because she likes stirring the pot.
そうだけど、あなたの考え違いを正してあげたかっ
She's
たの。
a gossipy hen.
私が言うのもなんだけど、助けてもらったからって簡単に心を許しちゃダメよ。あの人だってあなたを利用しているだけなんだから。
Probably was at the start. Not gonna lie there, but no, I know that's a lie. Ciel isn't using me. She never has. The never part is kind of where there's a bit of a bump in the road there, dude. I'm the one who wanted to help. She's always looked out for me. Not once has she ever asked me to do anything.
そうなんだ。
That's just how good of a manipulator she is.
意外ね、それ。
She tricked you into thinking that she didn't want any help.
まあ、仮にそうだとしても、始まりが不正なのは変わらないわ。四季君、あの人に暗示をかけられていたことさえ気づいてないんだから。
Yeah, you gotta ding you a couple points there. Her words freeze my thoughts.
暗示。
This time I'm really gonna pass out.
そうよ。あの人は自分に好意を持つように四季君を操っていた。あなたはいつからシエルと知り合いなの？あの子を先輩と呼ぶようになったのは
We
どんなきっかけだっ
made
た？
small talk on the train, and then we were, thick as thieves. When did we meet? I don't even have to try to remember. Ciel is a third year at my school. I've known her since I was a first year. Since I was a first year?
Oh.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I have no memories of spending time with Ciel at school. The first memory I can recall is running into her on the train. Now that I think about it, when did I meet Ciel? Don't even know which class she's in. Thank you, Tono. Her words, that smile. That's all it took for me to think that I've always known her.
嘘。
One thing in particular gives me a feeling of unease. Everyone called her Ciel like it was the most natural thing in the world. How did no one ever question a name like that?
ほら見なさい。私だって赴任して仰天したわ。いくら筆跡に耐性のない一般人でも100人200人に暗示をかけるなんて、並大抵の魔力量じゃないもの。
Yeah, you're just casting, 100 cantrips.
さすがは第7位ってとこ
Not
ろか
really
しら
something
ね
you。can normally do.
それとも暗示だからこれだけのことができたのかしら。暗示は所詮暗示。印象の操作に過ぎないものね。
Yeah, it's
記憶そのものを
hypnotism.
いじる洗脳とは違うんだし。四季君たちはきっとシエルを疑問に思わないと
Yeah,
いうことだけを
just
刷り
subtly
込まれ
nudging
てい
your
たん
mind
で
in
し
the
ょう
right
ね。
direction, and if you have no reason to resist the nudging, you're just going to go along with it. That's right. I did feel like something was off at first, but those doubts faded the more I saw her. Anywhere she went, it felt completely natural for her to be there. That's what was so distinctive about Ciel.
でも、それは。
That doesn't mean she was lying to me. She had a good reason for it.
俺たちを危険にさらさないために黙っていただけでしょ。
ええ、一般生徒にはね。でも四季君はもう違う。あの地下を知った以上、暗示は解いてあげるべきだった。
Yeah, if she did it then, you'd be like, whoa, what the fuck am I doing?
それに教えてあげるべきことを黙ってい
Yeah,
る。
right now you're like
と
two,
いうのは思い
two
やりに
opposite
なる
ends
の
of
か
a
しら。
magnet. You're just drawn to her.
知られたら都合が
She's
悪い
like,
から
she's my
黙ってい
friend.
るだけじゃないの。
I have no arguments left. All I can do is look down and breathe deep, like I'm sticking my head in the sand.
これで分かったでしょ。あの人がいい子ちゃんに見えるのは全部演技なんだって。ええ、演技でなかったら今までの冷酷ぶりは何だったっていうの。
Yeah, why else would she hurt you like this? This feeling you feel in your chest, it's her fault, Shiki. I hear footsteps treading on grass. Lifting my head up, see that she's made her way to the exit of the courtyard.
話はこれでおしまいよ。そろそろあの人もここを見つけるだろうし、四季君と密会していたなんて知られたら何をされるかわからないわ。最悪、四季君と私、もう用済みだからって消されるかも。そもそも四季君は知っちゃいけないことをたくさん知っちゃったし、なんであれ、証拠隠滅はしなくっちゃね。
Alright. Now you're overspicing the meal.
証拠隠滅って何を？
You.
そう。それはこれからの行動次第よ、四季君。あの子の機嫌を損なわない
No
よう、
loose ends.
あの子に見逃してもらえるよう、せいぜい頑張ってみれば。ま、仕事が全部終わった後はいつも通り、死人に口なしってオチでしょうけど。
I feel an indignant impulse to protest flare up within me. It's not how things will end. Even if Ciel has to keep everything quiet, she said she'd only erase my memories. But I wonder, could she really erase everything that's happened this week? And nothing else?
そうそう、そういう顔してもらわな
I
いと
mean,
危
some of the
険を冒
strongest
した甲
Ciel,
斐がない
yeah,
わ。
she could. It does kind of like mess with your brain if you do it a lot, but just a one-time thing like that, it'll buff.
それじゃあね、四季君。今日の話をちゃんと胸に留めて、私みたいに何もかも台無しにされないよう気をつけて。
Yeah, don't grow up to be a failure of an adult.
待て
I call out for her to stop, but it's already too late. The woman who summoned me into another world laid the truth on me and left with a smile on her face. Tsukihime Isekai coming up? Shiki in another world? I feel uneasy, like a spider has taken up residence inside my skull. Shaking my head to clear away the webs, I leave behind the factory and its walls dripping with red. Well, that sucked. Man, I thought I've been on some bad dates.
お帰りなさいませ、四季様。
ただいま翡翠。ごめん、ちょっと頭が痛いんだ。少しだけ休むから夕食になったら呼びに来てくれ。
Yeah, I need to go brood. Isui comes to greet me, but I give her a curt response and go straight to my room. Locking the door as I enter my room, I sit down on the bed and finally calm down. I had a huge fight with Ciel, then witnessed that gruesome scene at the abandoned factory. Ciel told me to stop seeing Arcuid, and Miss Noelle told me not to trust Ciel. And she was only using me to help her kill vampires.
なんだそれ。悩むまでもないじゃないか。
Nah, this day sucked.
先輩が俺を利用して
You're justified in feeling a little
アルクエイ
bad.
ドとのことであんなに怒らないはずだ。
There's no way Ciel could be lying to me. She always puts my safety above hunting vampires. And still, I didn't listen to her warnings and hurt her with my thoughtless words.
分かってる。先輩は悪くない。
It's a little bit her fault.
悪いのは頭に血が上った俺の方
But
だ。
yeah, you kind of flew off the handle. How pathetic I am. If I wanted her to trust Arcuid, I should have been more patient, tried to mediate between the two of them. I like Ciel. Respect, friendship, attraction. I have so many different feelings for her. This is the first time I've longed so dearly for someone to be happy. If I didn't have anemia, I'm sure I'd have asked her out by now. And at the same time, I feel just as strongly about Arcuid. My feelings for her come from a different place. I only lashed out at Ciel for saying the person with that beautiful smile was no more than a lowly vampire.
なんだそれ。筋が通らない。
Damn it. I never knew I was this kind of person. I've come to terms with how I feel about Ciel, so why am I still hung up on Arcuid? Is it because of those feelings that I didn't want to hear her say that? Hey man, matters of the heart. It's complicated. You're young. Only gets worse with time, but good luck. This time I sighed deeply, letting out every bit of frustration. The sun has already set. In a few hours, it'll be time to meet up with Arcuid. Leaving my own question unanswered, I lay my tired body down in bed until Hisui comes for me. God, maybe I can finally have a sip of this whiskey I poured goddamn an hour ago. Ooh, the first sip always burns a little extra bit. Chase it with a little water so I'm not choking on the fumes. I'll go back to my room after eating dinner. Assailed by a twinge in my head, I breathed deeply to let the dizziness pass. I've been getting headaches a lot from taking my glasses off and looking at the lines too much. Even in this, the consequences of hunting down vampires is apparent. Ciel's right. I shouldn't be going out at night. I know that full well, but...
そろそろか。
God, it's like the clock in my grandparents' living room. Because I used to sleep on the couch because they only had their rooms. Because my grandparents are that kind of old where they have their own bedrooms. Which, to be honest, I entirely get. I 100% support married couples or, long-term partners having their own bedroom if they want. If they are both fine with having their own space that is theirs to do with what they please, 100% understand. And I don't really know if I'd prefer that too. I might, just because I'm such a, I don't want to say closed off person because that has a real negative connotation to it, but I appreciate having like my own zone that is mine, a space to call my own. And if it can be like a place that you can go to and feel like this is mine. It's a, a quote unquote safe space, but not in like the new term, but as in like a actual, mentally, this is where it's mine, it's me. It is an extension of myself. There we go. That's kind of what I was getting to. And as much as it is nice to be like, oh, my partner and me, we're like one and the same, yada yada. It's like, no, sometimes you just need you. It's nice to just have a breather. So, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, my grandparents' house layout. They have their 2 rooms, but there's no like real guest bedroom, so I just had to sleep on the couch. It was a good couch, but it did have a clock with that kind of chime, big clock on the wall that would go off like on the hour every hour with, dinging, chiming for each hour, which wasn't that bad once it had passed midnight. But, when you're like 7 and you're in bed by like 9 o'clock, and, they're old, so they're also in bed by 9 o'clock, and you're trying to sleep, and the clock on the wall is just dinging 10 times in a row, it's like, okay, come on. It's almost time to meet Arcuid. Whether to continue our hunt or to end it is not a decision I can make on my own. Seeing her again will help me figure this all out. If I conclude that my relationship with Arcuid has come to an end, so be it.
そうだよな。一番良くないのは、このまま答えを出さないことだ。
Mm-hmm. No ghosting, people. It's better to just cut it off and, then get threatening phone calls and have a stalker for a little bit until you, like, threaten to call the cops. And they threaten to say things about you that never happened, but then you have it as proof that, like, I literally have it here as you threatening to say that, like, devil emoji, like, laugh. And it's like, this ain't a good look. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I guess it isn't. And then that's the last you hear from them. Thank God. I give my clothes a once-over, then turn off the lights in my room. After making sure my knife is in my pocket, I head to the park where Arcuid is waiting. I slip out the front gates undetected. The road in front of the Tono mansion sees little traffic, and I'm probably the only one who walks down it. It's especially quiet tonight, with people going out less because of the serial killer. Most lights in the residential area I can see below are already out. It's not even 10 yet. The silence makes it feel like it's 1 in the morning. The wind has a bite to it now that the end of October draws near. Fall will be over in no time. I idly wish for everything to come to an end before winter freezes the world over. I walk along the path outside the mansion. Going down this hill will put me in the residential area. If I were going to school, I'd head southwest from the residential area towards the shopping district. The station is just past it. Once I popped out of the south exit on the other side, I'd be at school in 10 minutes. I'm going to the park tonight, so I won't need to go through the city. I'll just keep heading south past the elevated railway that splits the town in two. You live on the good side of the tracks, or Well, I suppose that question answers itself, you know, looking back at the giant house on the hill. I'd say he probably lives on the good side of the tracks. I have a little less than 15 minutes till 10 p.m. I'd better hurry. The roads will be dark since I'm skipping the shopping district, but it's the quickest way to the meeting spot. And then, I see a silhouette by the mansion's perimeter wall. A girl wearing a nun's habit. She casually leans against the wall like she's here to see me off rather than stop me.
呆れましたね。こんな夜更けにどこに行く気ですか?
Don Quixote. I really wanted some cup ramen, you know. As much as nice as Kohaku's food is, you know, the middle class boy in him craves for high sodium. I stopped dead in my tracks. Ciel's eyes are cold. Her voice is devoid of emotion. I thought I'd look for her at school tomorrow, but she's come for me. Golden opportunity has fallen in my lap, but I can't look Ciel in the eye. I wish I could apologize right now and patch things up. But before I do that, I have to figure out something else. How do I feel about Arcuid? I can't talk to Ciel until I know the answer to that.
先輩、俺は。
言い訳は聞きません。
I like blondes.
今こうしていること自体があなたの心情を表していますから。まったく。あれだけ言ったのに彼女のところに行くって言うんですね、遠野くんは。そんなに吸血鬼がいいんですか?
No, not vampires. I just like Arcuid.
もしや永遠の命とか、そんな甘い見返りを夢見ていますか?
No, I want her to hold my hand and giggle at me.
No.
And so then I can call her stupid. And then watch her fume and then have her, like, rebound because she's crazy. Ciel lets loose an uncharacteristically scathing jab. Eternal life. The alluring prospect of immortality for one who was bitten by a vampire and turned into a dead apostle. In the end, it's no different from being human. If they don't eat, they die, and they can obviously be killed. You think at this point, you know, with seeing how so much first-hand experience, you'd be like, I don't really know about this whole vampirism thing. Doesn't really seem to be worth it. In light of everything I've been through, I know that all too well. Not to mention that I...
そりゃ夢には見るでしょ。誰だって死にたくないし、先輩みたいに強くなりたいし。
Yeah, then we could be like super-powered crime-fighting partners.
はい、そうですよ。丈夫な体になれるなら、俺、アルクエイドのものになってもいいんです。
遠野くん、何言ってるんですか? そこはそんなわけないだろ先輩。町のためにやってるんだぜって返すものでしょ?
You're going off script.
もちろんです。
She's played this conversation on her head like all day long. You can't go off her mental script.
で、あんな挑発をして、そういう反論を期待してたんですね、先輩。
So that's how it is. If I told her what she was expecting to hear, she'd already have me beat.
今夜だけは先輩の言うことは聞け
It
ま
was
せん
all
から。
faint to throw you off balance.
でも、作動室でのことは反省しています。これが終わったら、話を聞いてください。
Yeah, things got a little emotional and heated, kind of said some things we didn't mean. I walked past Ciel without looking at her. Not much of an excuse, but meeting with Arcuid takes priority right now.
そうですか。そこまで覚悟ができているのなら、私からは何もありません。作動室の件も気にしないでください。遠野くんは間違ったことは言っていませんでしたから。
Her voice comes at me from behind. No longer carries any intent to stop me from going to see Arcuid. I see. She's thoroughly fed up with me now.
それじゃあ、俺、行くから。
はい。どうぞ遠野くんのお好きなようにしてください。
Yeah, go see that blonde hussy. I can only hear her voice. But I keep walking away from the mansion, unable to look back. Because walking forward while looking backwards is dangerous. You might trip on the curb or walk into a, light pole. Clop, clop, clop. What, we got a horse? Is Nanako out? Footsteps echo through the residential area. Not from the heavy plodding of a man, but someone later afoot. What's more, my sneakers aren't making much noise. Only something with a hard sole, say, laced-up combat boots, would make a sound like this. In fact, I'm sure of it. God, fucking high-heeled combat boots. Sure, dude. Like, sure, my boots have a little bit of a heel on them, but that's just for, like, ankle and foot support. Not that. Like, that's gotta be, you know, kind of style over substance there. The clopping that's been following me all this time is definitely coming from a pair of boots. And those are some real hard heels, if it's a high heel boot like that. I stop walking. The footsteps stop too. Damn it. If I ignore and keep going, we'll end up at the park in no time. I have to say something.
ですね、先輩。
I spin around.
はい。なんでしょう、そこの健康不良少年くん。
Yes, yes.
不良でいいですけど。先輩の家ってこっちの方だったっけ？
いえ、全く違いますね。遠野くん、一度来たことあるでしょう。
I
忘れ
just
ちゃ
thought
った
there
ん
was
ですか？
different route I wasn't familiar with.
覚えてます。忘れません。ちょっと確認したくなっただけです。
はい、正解です。大した記憶力ですね。私の家への曲がり道は、ズバリさっき通り過ぎました。
You know, just making sure you're not getting lost in the dark is all. Right. I grin and reply. Yep. Ciel smiles back.
それじゃあ、俺はこっちだから。
はい、どうぞ、遠野くんのお好きなように。
Ciel beams from ear to ear. But despite her cheerful expression, I've got a really bad feeling about this. I take a deep breath.
どうしました？行かないんですか？
Ciel's question sounds so innocent. I take the opening and run off into the night. I'm going as fast as my legs will carry me, tearing through the city without looking back. I don't hear any footsteps coming after me, but I make a small detour as an added precaution. Ciel will have a harder time tracking me in the bustling station area. Dude, she's probably on a rooftop, like looking at you, just making, like, quick hops to keep up. I'll zip through the crowd to make it look like I'm heading to school, then rush back to the train tracks. Buddy. I've hit my limit. I'm almost at the park now, so I should be in the clear. Shoulders heaving, I finally stop and catch my breath. Oh, looks like that worked. I don't hear that rhythmic clop, so Ciel's probably lost track of me and ended up somewhere else.
感心できませんね、遠野くん。誰もいないからといって、むやみに走り出すのはどうかと思います。
Yeah, what if you trip in the dark? A hand clamps down on my shoulder from behind. I startle, leaping into the air like a frog.
なんでついてくるんだよ、先輩。
なんでも何も、遠野くん一人じゃ不安じゃないですか。遠野くんのようななんちゃって調査とは違う、真に町の平和を守る者として当然の行為ですが、何か？
Ciel lays it all out there. She must be upset that I tried to lose her. She's probably more upset that you did such a shitty job. This has made one thing clear, though. Ciel isn't gonna let me go on my own. It won't be easy to say this, but gotta keep a cool head, cool as a cucumber, because you know exactly what happened last time. You got a little heated, a little Tono gamer moment. I'll do my best to stay calm. I can use what she said earlier to my advantage.
ちょっと待って。先輩、 さっき俺の好きにしていいって言ってくれ
Well,
ましたよ
yeah,
ね。
and she's gonna do exactly what she wants to too.
はい、どうぞ遠野くんのお好きなようにしてください。
Yeah, you're both free agents. Ciel nods, smiling.
よかった。俺の幻聴ってわけじゃなかったんだな。よし。それじゃあここでお別れです。これ以上ついてきちゃダメですからね。
Yeah, but she wants to follow you, so you can't stop her. Just like she can't stop you from leaving.
私、遠野くんについてきているわけではありませんけど、
いや、実際ついてきてるじゃないですか。
公園に用があるだけです。
Yeah, there's a certain someone she needs to have a
遠野くん
talk
が
with.
どこに行くのかは知りませんけど、行き先が公園でないのならここでお別れですね。
So this is what it's come to. Can't really argue with that. And yet,
ああ、もうそれでもダメです。公園にはアルクエイドがいるんですよ。
yeah, water right into the fire.
あいつ
I mean,
なんで
oil
か
right
先
into
輩
the
を
fire.
敵視してるし、このまま合わ
At
せ
least
るわ
with
けにはい
water,
き
we
ま
just
せん。
put out the fire, but this is just gonna cause an explosion.
おや、私のことを心配してくれるんですか？
Yeah, worried Arcuwood's gonna fucking kill you.
心配なんかするに決まってます。俺は先輩とアルクエイドが争うところなんて見たくない。お願いですから。
なるほど、なるほど。そうですか。私の心配じゃなくて彼女の心配をしているんですね、遠野くんは。
Little column A, little column B. Ciel ignores me, taking my words in exactly the wrong way. Judging by her taunt, I get the feeling that she's enjoying this.
先輩、もしかして作動室のこともさっきのことも、いやそれ以前に俺がアルクエイドと夜出歩いたこと自体ずっと怒ってたんじゃないですか。
Do you want to come along? We can just like set up an arrangement where he just walks in the middle and you guys are on either side so that we don't have to walk next to or talk to each other. She smiles sweetly without saying a word. She's angry, all right. There's no doubt about it. Behind that face lies a deep-seated grudge.
わかりました。全部俺が悪かったです。もっとちゃんと謝りたかったけど、こうなったら仕方ないです。作動室でのことは謝ります。あれは俺の失言でした。だから
帰ってくれ。なんて言ったら本気で怒りますよ、遠野くん。
He's not very eloquent.
え？
私たち今絶好中なんです。喧嘩して私も拗ねているみたいですから、
Mm-hmm.
生半可なことじゃ素直になれません。
True.
先輩。
ここで遠野くんが帰ってくれるのなら仲直りできるんですけど、それは無理だって分かってます。ですからこんな話をしていても無意味です。
Yep. Just throw the dice and, see where they lie.
あなたが私に謝る必要もありません。私昼のことは気にしていませんから。
Mm-hmm.
私の仕事は吸血鬼を退治すること。今はそれを忠実にこなしているだけです。
Handle things one day at a time. Ugh.
先輩。
Ciel ignores me and starts walking away. Her destination is none other than my meeting spot with Arcuid, the park by the south exit.
待ってください。どうしてそんなにムキになってるんですか？
Women reasons.
私ムキになんかなってい
Oh,
ませ
she's
ん。
mad when she's saying that.
あなたの方こそ私と一緒にいると彼女に誤解されるんじゃないですか？
I mean, she'd probably be mad at you.
誤解って何がですか？
Sure, she'd be mad at him, but more mad at you. But she'd also direct that anger at you at him?
あなたは彼女が好きなんでしょ？
She's not very
なら
rational. So you
彼女
can't
の
really
敵で
expect
ある
what would
私と
happen.
一緒にいるのは
Or predict.
立場的にまずいと思いますけど。
別に俺はあいつのことが好きってわけじゃ。
I can't bring myself to say that I don't like Arcuid. My attraction to her appears as an undeniable fact.
もうほんと自分自身にも嘘をつけないんですね、遠野くんは。
He's a pure-hearted young
な
man.
ん
You
か
can't
正
blame
直
him.
すぎて参っちゃいます。
Ciel sighs, sounding equal parts exasperated and resigned. I don't know what feelings that sigh really contained, but her edge is dulled. She seems back to her usual self.
けど本当にここで別れた方がいいですよ。私たちは絶好中なんですし、こんなところをアルクエイドに見られたら。
Yeah, she's gonna come, bolting in like a freight train. Just like cross chop you.
見られたらどうなるのかしらね、シエル。
I turn towards the voice coming from behind me. Oh, she's fucking mad. Eee. Standing there is a woman I've never seen. Her golden hair is bathed in moonlight. Her body is pale and beautiful, so pure that no corruption can draw near. Though she is a denizen of the night, she shines like the sun. But she's different. This is not the Arcuate I know.
アルクエイド。
She's like, hi! I quietly speak her name. The woman in white briefly flicks her eyes to me, then turns her focus back to Ciel.
遠野くん、下がって。いえ、なんとか隙を見て、公
No,
園の
this
外まで
one
逃
you
げてください。
get between them and be like, nope, nope. Just like put your hands on both their heads and like keep them pushed away. Ciel whispers a warning as she steps forward. If she told me to run from Arcuate before, I would have said she was overstating the danger. But right now, it sure looks like the best course of action. At the same time, I realize that it's impossible. The air is unbelievably heavy. Arcuate's crimson eyes are dreadful. It's no exaggeration to say that everything in this park, from the trees to their leaves, is frozen under that gaze. The tension I feel right now is stifling as when we face down Vlav, if not more so. Instinct tells me that my life is forfeit if I so much as take a single step.
驚いたわ。シキの声が聞こえたから来てみれば、まさかあなたが一緒だなんてね。何をしに来たの、シエル。私に用はないと思うけど。ええ、あなたに用などありません。大事ならともかく、話をするなんて考えるだけでもおぞけが走りますから。
Don't respond to her egging on like that, Ciel.
私は彼があんまりにも危なっかしいので指導をしてあげているだけです。
Unbelievable.
どうも頭のゆるい吸血鬼にたぶらかされているようなので。指導が必要なのはそっちの体の方なんじゃない？余分な肉ばかりついて死に際のカバのよう。
Alright,
それとも
that's a good hit.
どんなに切り崩しても重さの減らない贅肉かしら。そっくりそのまま返しますよ。起きて殺すことだけがあなたの美点でしょうに。人間に助けを求めるなんてそんな余分はらしくありません。神祖の誇りとやらをどこかに落としたのですか？まあそんなもの実際あったかどうか
When she
疑
put
問
her
ですけ
brain
ど。
back together, a couple of the wires didn't connect like they were supposed to. It's weird. I feel like the tension has eased slightly. Maybe it's because the pressure enveloping the entire park has been redirected at Ciel alone. Actually, looking at them now, they don't seem like birds of a feather. Maybe they can talk things out.
つくづく勘に触る女ね。一度やられたぐらいじゃ物足りないってこと。あなたこそ。でも
First time
足
doesn't
も出
count,
ず
you
に
know, that
地
was
に落と
Roa.
された恐怖がまだ拭えていないんじゃないですか。言ったわね、キャンズ。何よ、人のパートナーを横取りするつもり？ええ、状況次第では。彼が私を頼ってくれるのなら、今すぐにでも。
This isn't going well. Oh, the situation is about to boil over. The hostilities may not be focused on me, but I can't stand by and watch. Ciel and Arcuate aren't kids, so it shouldn't come to blows. Still, as the person in the middle, I have to quell some of their bloodlust.
待ってくれ、二人とも。なんか空気が不穏だ。耐えられない。というか落ち着け。 お互い目的は同じなんだろう。
Stop
ならここは仲良く。
fighting!
遠野くんは黙っててください。
Well, that didn't work. Based on the animosity in their glares, I'm guessing I've only added fuel to the fire. It's because you took such a limp-wristed kind of, cardboard spine approach to that. You really needed to step up, puff your chest down and kind of put them in their place. Let them know you're the boss and that we're gonna do things by my rules here.
真似しないでよ。式に呼びかけるのは私だけの特権なんですけど。呼びかける？今のは？
I mean, he does a
せいぜ
little
い
bit.
同活の間違いでしょう。鏡を見たことがないんですね。ああ、吸血鬼だから鏡に映らないんでしたっけ？
I mean, in the moment, he doesn't appreciate it very much, but kind of afterwards, like once we part ways and he's kind of thinking on his own, he's kind of like, hee hee hee.
どこの迷信よ。鏡にぐらいちゃんと映るわ、私。おや、そうでしたか。それは失
You
礼。
see, the reason
人ですら自分の姿を恥じて姿を映
vampires
さないとい
traditionally
うの
don't
は
have a reflection
大した
is
高顔っぷりです
because mirrors were
さ
made
すがは吸
using
血鬼の大元。感服しま
it's
し
it's
た。
like some kind of silver compound that's the reflective material on the back of a mirror behind the glass pane. So the reason why they don't have reflections is because it's silver, and silver is the go-to anti-ghost and ghoul mineral, so they can't see themselves in it.
ねえ、もしかして挑発しているの？あなた。
Yes.
まさかこれは挑発ではなく糾弾ですよ。自分が何であるかを理解しない愚か者に現実を教えてあげているだけです。
Markwood's smile is beautiful, yet horrifying. My fingers tingle with numbness. Every hair on my body stands on end. In a single breath, the park is frozen under the grinning portent of death. But even faced with that smile, Ciel does not back down.
いいわ。私からも最初で最後の勧告よ。式はあなたのことがそれなりに大事らしいから、今回だけは見逃してあ
Yeah,
げる。
I don't want to kill you
ま
for
た
nothing
殺
to
され
make
る
him
前
feel
に
bad.
今すぐここから消え去りなさい。驚きましたね。吸血鬼が人間の機嫌を伺うなんて。
Well, yeah, he'd yell at me if I killed you for no reason. But if you force my hand, you gotta do what you gotta do.
あなたなら人間なんて思い通りに操れる。
I can't make an omelet and all that.
彼に協力させるならしもべにしてしまえばいいのに、なぜ魅了しないのですか、ハルクエイド。
Because that's rude.
あなたらしい品位に欠けた発想ね。式は私のパートナーよ。そんなことをしなくても私の手助けをしてくれるって言ってく
Yeah,
れた。
this is a 50-50, we each have a stake in this.
私を殺せる時でも私のそばにいてくれた。
Oh, that
私が一人でいる
that
時
sprite gets a
も
little
式
wonky
に会え
with
る
the
と思
mouth
うだ
there.
けで時間は瞬く間に過ぎていった。
Oof, you can see it like right above her chin. It looks like they tried to like adjust something, but they didn't line up the outline and the shading just right. It's like me when I'm in Photoshop and I'm messing up with my tools and I fuck it all up. Yee.
当然でしょ。だって式は私の運命の人なんだから。
You're not wrong. Wait, soulmate? What the hell is she talking about? She's been watching too many daytime dramas. Ciel's wordless judgment stings. She's staring me down, silently demanding to know what the meaning of all this is. Not that I have the answers to that. I'd like to know myself.
ふざけてるんですか。
She's been
あな
watching
た
her
は
soaps.
何を言い出すかと思えば、よりにもよってオムファタルなんて。ふざけて
No,
なんかいない
no,
わ。
she's straight. Don't get it wrong there,
式の心も
Ciel.
体も
Our
彼
ego
が
has
これ
nothing
から
to
得
do
る
with
喜
this.
びも悲しみも死に伏せる権利さえ私のもの。ええ、 使徒の気持ちが少しだけ理解できたわ。
Yeah?
人間の血を飲みたいとは思わないけど、シキの命は私以外の誰にも渡さない。
You're the possessive type. I mean, we already knew that, but
ちょっと
when you phrase it like that, it's a little. I can barely squeeze a whisper out of my throat. I don't know their history, and evidently, I can't stop the fight that's on the verge of breaking out. But even so, I can't ignore what Arkua just said. She understands how a dead apostle feels? No way. I haven't known her for that long, but I know that can't be true. That would mean she's no more than a vampire.
アルケイド、あなたまさか。さあ、どうかしら。あなた、吸血衝動に飲み込まれて打点したように見える。
I mean, you kind of had a bit of a Joker moment last route, but
いいえ、
you know, we haven't pushed it that far yet.
とっくに世界は裏返っています。あなたはまだ
No, she's
狂って
crazy.
も落ちてもいない。
Arcuit's fucking insane.
つまり今の段階ならまだ間に合うということです。
Yeah, repent in the name of the
その通
Lord.
りよ、シエル。
Still time to save your eternal soul.
これは吸血衝動とは違う。だって楽しいわ。すごく胸が弾んでいるの。まるで春の。以前あなたは私を愚かだと言ったわね。ロアに騙された世間知らずだって。本当にそう。シキに殺されるまでの私は本当に愚かだった。自由になることが、自由に手足を動かせることが、自由に人間を好きになることが、こんなにも気持ちいいなんて知らなかった。
Ah. You're the sheltered girl going to college for the first time, huh?
だから
Kinda, you know, going a little overboard with the, you know, self-exploration, so to say.
今の私はあなた以上に人間的よ。例えばこんな風に自分の気持ちを表現できる。
I thought you were just gonna be like freakily licking your finger and be like, yeah, you like that? Arcuit sinks her teeth into her index finger like she's taking a bite out of a strawberry. Ouch. They do that in anime all the time, but do you know how hard it would be to actually like bite through the, like Naruto's the big one, like when they do the, what is it, like the summoning jutsu for the frog, he like bites his thumb. Like one, that hurt like a motherfucker and like split your thumb like right in the middle. But you know, like any dumb fucking kid, like obviously I tried that after I saw it and like that shit looks rad. It's really hard to bite through the skin of your finger on like the meaty part like that enough to draw a decent amount of blood. Red liquid drips down her pale finger. I don't know if I read that already. A small drop of blood falls onto the stone pavement. Splish. The droplet hits the ground with the tiniest sound, and in an instant, a pool of crimson liquid covers the park square. Ew? Oh, this can't be real. No, the park is actually covered in blood. The sticky red liquid sloshes around my ankles as proof of that. Oh, it's ankle deep?
安心して。一滴だけだから。これから楽しい時間になるのに、ここは色が薄すぎて。せめてこれぐらいはしないと趣がないでしょ。
Oh, you're a real vampire, all about the theatrics, huh? The air coiling around me feels dense, but there's no malice in her voice. She's the same old Arcuit, the same stupid, innocent girl with a smile as bright as the sun. Only one thing is off. One slight, trivial mistake that has turned her into something else.
自由に思うままに行動するというのですね。あなたが何の制約もなく思うままにロアを処罰すると、その結果がどうなるか。自らを縛らない神祖は使徒と変わらない。グローブのようにこの町を蹂躙するのが望みだとでも。 分かりきったことを聞かないでシエル。人間の町に関心はないわ。邪魔
Yeah,
を
you
し
know,
なければ
I
何
don't
もし
want
な
to
い。
destroy it, but if it
こん
happens,
なの
then
道
so
端
be
の
it.
石と同じよ。ああ、でもそっか。好きになるのも自由なら憎んでみるのも自由よね。ロアに汚染された町、ロアの痕跡を残すたち、
Ah,
どちらにせよ汚らしいし、
scorched earth
きれい
it.
に掃除していくのも私
Just
の
burn the whole
自由。
shit down.
それにここで思いっきり今までずっと気に食わなかった女を八つ咲きにするのも心底楽しそうじゃない？
Battle begins instantaneously. The woman in white leaps into the air. Swords dart through the air, suppressing her advance. The two figures clash before I have a chance to react.
遠野くん、下がって。
Ciel leaps to the side as she shouts a warning at the boy beside her. And a moment later, white claws tear through the ground where she stood. Oh, the action's so intense. Caused me to sneeze. Arcuit has closed in on her in a single bound, slamming her arm into the ground as if to crush her entire body.
決まりね。遊びましょう、シエル。
The avatar of white cheerfully taunts her mortal enemy. To her, the thrill of the fight far outweighs the humiliation of her foiled attack. Ciel ignores the jeering as she formulates a strategy. This is the worst possible turn the knight could have taken. Her opponent is a true ancestor who has lost her mind. They're in the middle of the city, and she is only armed with black keys. To make matters worse, she needs to protect an innocent bystander, Shikitono this instance, while she fights. She is left with only one course of action. Go on the defensive, wait for a pause in Arcuit's onslaught, use it to erect the most powerful bounded field she has, and retreat with Shiki. It's a simple plan, in theory, but Ciel knows from experience that plans rarely survive contact with the enemy. The Tressus dashes at her in a straight line. I'm unfamiliar with that word. You know, it looks like French, and it would make sense if it was French because Ciel, but what is that? A female practitioner of parkour. Buddy, put down the thesaurus. All right, sure. Ciel sends a sword flying towards her torso. These swords are also known as black keys, inquisitorial tools used exclusively by executors. In its basic form, it appears to be nothing but a hilt. However, a blade appears when it is infused with a sacrament, allowing it to function as a sword. That said, it is primarily used for thrusting and throwing, making it less of a cutting tool than a bullet for piercing vampires from afar. And when Executor and Ciel imbues it with her will, it darts through the air with the force of a cannonball. Transcending human limits, she moves with millimeter precision. All of her physical energy is channeled into the throw, amplifying the power of the black keys by an order of magnitude. It is not the work of magecraft or sacrament, but pure mastery of the human body. One fanatic spent hundreds of years devising this technique. A pitch with a force to pierce a concrete wall. At the Barrel Agency, they call it the Iron Bore. But one swipe of Arcuit's claws is enough to render it useless. Every black key Ciel throws is an iron bore. The vampire bats aside the rain of its swords with a smile on her face, bearing down on the Executor. The distance Ciel created is closed effortlessly. Arcuat's claws come swinging down. Ciel attempts to use a black key as a shield, but it shatters. The impact reverberates through her arms, all the way to her ribs. Unable to resist the force of the blow, she jumps back in the direction she is from. The hilts of 6 more black keys appear in her hands. In the span of a single breath, she launches them at Arcuat and pulls back 10 meters from the vampire.
また国権？私が言うのもなんだけど、そんな年代ものいつまで使ってるのよ、あなたたちは。ほら、もっとこう面白そうな。
As Arcuat implied, black keys have a long and storied history of nearly 1,700 years. But there are a few who still use them due to the high level of skill they demand, and modern weaponry serves as an adequate substitute. But Ciel is not the average executor. She understands that a weapon cannot be dismissed on account of age. Several variations have been developed over its 1,000 years of use. One of these is the cremation rite. A wall of flame burning at 500 degrees Celsius to incinerate the impure beings known as the living dead. I mean, 500 degrees Celsius is pretty good, but all in all, it's not that hot when it comes to, you know, certain temperatures you can get to in, like, metallurgy. Like, I'm pretty sure gold doesn't even melt until it's at over 1,000 degrees Celsius. Of course, such a weapon has no chance of stopping this vampire. The flames are just a distraction. Ciel's goal is only to restrain her. Direct attacks with the black keys have little effect, while trapping Arcuat in a bounded field would keep her at bay for a day. Yeah, get her with the lawn dart technique. She brushes the torn of blades aside. There we go. Just like I was saying. Now, some of them will get to the ground. When the black keys pierce the ground, a glowing field shoots up from between them, forming an outline in the shape of a cathedral. These walls are more than strong enough to keep Arcuat locked within. If only she had been in range. The white figure charges at the executor, weaving through the swords like a beautiful beast bounding across the vast plain.
Oh no!
Ciel meets Arcuat head-on. Though she could only have dodged the blow, she does not allow herself that option. She has already been driven to the edge of the park. If she were to fall back any further, the fight would be taken into the city streets. Yeah, it's at home. Also at home. At home. Ciel weathers the vicious assault. Her muscles feel like they're on the verge of exploding. Having taken the brunt of Arcuat's charge, she is like a spring coiled to its limit, and she releases all of her energy with a fiery roar. Ciel pivots, putting her force into a roundhouse kick that strikes Arcuat in the chest. Yeah, corner trapper. The white shadow sent flying, with 3 black keys following close behind. Outplayed.
あなたに聖堂は過ぎたものです。そのタワーリングで緩んだ頭を冷やしなさい。
You can't just throw proper nouns like that at us, Ciel. The Tower Ring is a bounded field devised by Ciel for use against true ancestors, or more accurately, against Arcuat specifically. Simply nailing black keys into the ground and creating a wall would not hold her. To capture prey that moves about this freely requires a 3-dimensional method of herding. In this case, by using the towering walls of a temple as the foundation for a structure that simultaneously occupies vertical and horizontal space. Though the field will not harm its target, it is practically indestructible. The Tower of Light has the same hardness and mass as the building it is modeled after, namely, the Strasbourg Cathedral, the tallest structure in the world during the Middle Ages. A massive stone and prayer standing 140 meters tall. The vampire has no hope of escaping it.
魔術は使わないんじゃなかったの？あの嘘くさい心情はどこに行った？
Well, that's most church people because they find it like heretical, but
あ
hey
な
man,
たと
if
ロ
it
アに
works,
し
it
か使わ
works.
ないだけです。諦めなさいアルクエイド。それは27素であっても一時的に封じ得る強度を持ちます。
God, it's
新
the
素であ
one
っ
I
ても
always
容
go
易には
back
砕け
to
ません。
for this kind of
加えて
scenario. It's that Fist of the North Star fight where it's just the guy who throws dynamite. And Kenshiro is like, you call throwing dynamite kung fu or whatever? He's like, hey man, if it works,
加えて
fucking
何
smoke him if you got him
やっぱり
mentality.
あの武器を持ってくるの？聖典を持ち出す必要はありません。
Because it's not
こ
here.
とはすでに終わっていますから。
The countless pillars of light thrusting out of the ground join together. They form layer upon layer of walls, overlapping to form a single cage.
グローブの時のそれはゴチックフォート。ある祖から奪い取った原理を用いた結界です。
Cool!
本来は外界との遮断に用いますが、使い方によっては最大の武器にもなる。ところでアルクエイドは魔術世界における生命の質量定義は知っていますね。
Defies life by mass. Sure.
生命そのものが持つエネルギー生産量、
Mhm.
もしくは質量を段階として定義したものです。
I mean, depending how you look at it, it's like magecraft. Sure, you apply magical energy and you kind of cheat thermodynamics by, getting a result worth more than what you put into it.
その基準はシンプルで、大きさと重さとで測られます。一番強いものが小さくて重いも
Modern
の。
magecraft anyway. Magic, just you get the end result because
二番目に
it's
強い
magic.
も
I
の
don't gotta explain shit.
大きくて重いもの。3番目が小さくて軽いもの。これは人間ですね。そして最後に大きくて軽いもの。これは情報や噂話、幽霊といった広範囲に広がるものです。
Okay.
シエル、あなた。私の大聖堂は最大直径 30km の隔絶空間。生命ではありませんが、大きくて重いものです。
Ah, but you can condense it to something that's small and heavy.
これを極限まで圧縮すればどうなるか試してみるのも一興だと思いませんか？いくら凶暴なあなたでも抜け出すにはそれなりの時間が必要になる。少なくとも1イデアブラッド22番クロムクレイペタストラクチャー。
Okay. The executor raises her arm up high. Then she brings together the Gothic fortress like she were closing the lid of a treasure chest, compressing the space within. Or rather, she attempted to.
ふざけるな！
As she burst! A violent blue torrent burst forth. The invisible force sends Ciel flying. The tower that trapped Arcuate is shattered. Beams of light that held it in place fade into nothingness. She's gone into blood heath.
何よそれ。閉じ込めるとか封じ込めるとか周りを守ることばっかり。
She's burning meter as we talk.
これは私との遊びでしょ。ならもっと本気になりなさいよね。
Arcuate walks towards her enemy like she intends to stamp out her frustration. She had accused Ciel of not taking their fight seriously, but she severely misread the situation. The Executor was fighting seriously. Considering her limited equipment, she was literally giving it everything she had. Against a true ancestor like Arcuate, all she can do is fight defensively. Going on the offense would be a recipe for her own ruin. To truly defeat Arcuid, she would need equipment that could kill her in one blow. That is what Ciel thinks, at least. But she does not have such luxuries at her disposal now, and Arcuid is not in her right mind. All that awaits her on the other side of this torment is death. What plagues her mind as she stares down her demise, however, is not fear.
こんなことって
That single blow was enough to cause most of her organs to fail. The executor fixes her eyes on the approaching vampire princess, gritting her teeth against a pain fierce enough to make anyone faint.
信じられない。あのバカ。本当に自分の感情で力を使っていませんか？
Yeah, she's stupid like that. The woman who has killed countless dead apostles, the woman who destroyed Vlav, now finds herself wishing that that terrible truth before her eyes was only a dream.
遠野くん、下がって。
Yeah, and then it all plays out in an instant, and she's just kind of staring on and like, huh? Ciel shouts a warning to me as Arcuid comes rushing at her with the speed and ferocity of a hurricane. She dodges, landing at the edge of the park square, a move clearly chosen to give her room to escape. The fight is entirely beyond my comprehension, which is why we had an in media res kind of start to the fight there so we could explain it all in narration text. Can't even follow Arcuid's movements. All I see are white after images fading into the dark of the night. Still, Ciel continues to fend off her flurry of attacks. It's clear even in the way they fight that the two of them are diametrically opposed. In contrast to Arcuid's wild, spontaneous attacks, Ciel doesn't waste a single movement. Yeah, Ciel's really calculating, playing footsies, and Arcuid's just spamming heavies, just unga bunga. She retreats, throwing her swords from a distance, and braces when her attacker draws near. They are equals in fighting prowess. Arcuid moves with reckless abandon, while Ciel remains firm and steady. But the odds are not in Ciel's favor. Her concern for her surrounding area keeps her from moving freely. On top of that, Arcuid does not tire, seeming to have no limits whatsoever. Exceptional as Ciel is, she is already fighting at full capacity. Arcuid, on the other hand, is able to expand her powers endlessly. At this rate, she's going to overwhelm Ciel's defenses. My premonition comes to pass before me. A victor emerges. The walls of light that bound Arcuid are broken, and Ciel is thrown back by some invisible force. Well, once the punches have come to a halt and there's kind of like a breathing, there's some breathing time. Just like hop in the middle and like yell at Arcuid, like snap her out of it. Like not like, oh, do you want to get her? You'll have to come through me, but like say something that makes her feel bad. Her body flies through the air and falls to the ground with a thud. Like call her stupid or something. Ciel bites through the agony and climbs to her feet. But her resistance is futile. She is launched even higher into the air by another unseeable blast. You hear the sound of flesh ripping and bone breaking as she hits the ground. A pool of red slowly spreads across the brick pavement. I guess she landed somewhere where we weren't in the ankle-deep puddle of blood. Otherwise, you wouldn't really be able to see it like that. And it wouldn't be as cool of a background effect. In spite of it all, Ciel still retains her consciousness. She forces her broken body back onto its feet and stares down her enemy. Blue sparks crackle in the air around Arcuid as she makes her approach. Her red eyes are firmly fixed on Ciel's neck. My voice does not come out. Of course not. My brain is not functioning. So what? Arcuid is gonna kill Ciel in cold blood. It's like, if you killed my senpai, I won't go on a date with you for a week. And she'll be like, oh. It's absolutely unacceptable. Can't let her do something so stupid.
やめろこの大バカ野郎
There we go. Call her an idiot. In a daze, I find my legs moving on their own. I slide in between the two of them, arms spread wide open to protect Ciel.
四季
In an instant, Arcura returns to normal. The sparks that flew around her are disappearing. Is she really so shocked that her protects Ciel? She kind of just forgot you were
なんで
there.
どうして四季がそいつをかばうの？
なんでも何もない。言っただろ。先輩は俺にとって大事な人だ。いくらお前でも、
Yeah, you know,
こ
you're,
れ
you're
以上
both
先輩に手を挙げたら許さ
a
ないか
little
らな。
special in your own ways. He's got a big heart. You know, there's 2 chambers in his heart. You know, one for each of you. I tighten my grip on my knife in my pocket as I glare at Arcuid.
そう。そいつと仲良くなってたらどうなるかって私も言ったはずだけど。
No, I forgot. Arcuid glares back at me with a murderous gaze.
どうって今ならまだ許してあげる。早くそんな奴をかばうのはやめて。私にそのナイフを向けないで。
Her crimson eyes flicker like a candle's flame. Her bloodlust is no longer aimed at Ciel, but turned towards me instead. My throat and mouth become painfully dry. My instincts warn me that this is my last chance to back off. But even so,
ダメだ。お前が先輩に手を挙げないと言うまでどかない。
聞きたくない。どいて四季。
oh, you've already won, Ark. Let's call it a night.
お前こそ引けアルク
You
エ
showed
ド。
how cool you are.
お前は俺に言ったじゃないか。人間は殺さないって。それとも
Well,
you know,
depending how you look at it,
嘘だ
Ciel
って
might
言うのか。
not technically be human anymore, so...
ええ。私は人間は殺さない。けど人間の規格を大きく外れた
Yeah.
命には敬意を表してる。
She's only human on a
だから対等
technicality.
の存在として殺すことも厭わないわ。例えばあなたやそこの女みたいな相手にはね。
Whoa, 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 let's keep us out of this. One step. Arcua takes one step closer. Though my legs are trembling so fiercely that I think they may take off running on their own, I hold back the urge to run.
そう。あなたはまた
No.
私にナイフを
We're all
向ける
adults here. We'll talk things out. Well, you two are. He's literally a minor, but... Another step. Arcwood casually closes in on me.
一度目は許した。けれど二度目を許せる自信はないわ。もっとも、あの時の再現はありえないけど。
Yeah, you don't really have the element of surprise.
いくらあなたの直視の目でも、
Also, yeah, it's
今
out
の
during
私
the
から
night.
死を読み取ることはできないでしょ
She's right in front of me. Her golden eyes bore into mine. Anxiety has frozen not only my heart, but every cell in my body. Except my mitochondria, because they're, you know, they're a different organism. And, play Parasite Eve. My spine has been ripped clean out. My organs have been turned inside out. This overwhelming sense of despair is beyond anything Vlad could muster. It's as though every part of the universe has turned its hateful gaze onto me. There's nothing I can do. This is what it means to make Arcuid your enemy. She is too fundamentally different from living beings to be fought. Attacking her would be meaningless. In order to save Ciel, in order for either of us to have any chance of survival, the only option is to stop her using my words. Yeah, roll for persuasion. Clearly the second one... It doesn't lead to a bad end, does it? No, it doesn't. Huh. No dead end for that one. You think it would. But no, make her feel bad. Yeah, just like I said. See, I know how Arcua ticks. Will this really work? It is how I feel, but I have no idea how she'll respond.
待てアルクエド。いいのか。本当にいいのか。
Oh, she's so fucking sure.
言ってることがわからない。いいのかって何がよ。
Well,
それ以上進んだらお前のこと嫌いになるからな。
there we go. Straight punch. I don't believe it. Oh, that worked. She actually stopped. Like a bucket of cold water on her head.
ダメ。逃げて、遠野くん。
先輩
It happens in an instant. Though she was wounded so badly that she could barely stand, Ciel still gets in front of me.
生命力だけはさすがね。でもそれでどうするの？さっきの大魔術で魔力は空っぽのくせに。今のあなたじゃ式の盾にもならない。式が無茶をしている間に逃げればよかったのに。あなたこそ、そんな気もないくせに笑わせないでください。
Well,
私
yeah.
が背中を見せれば、喜んでとどめを刺す気だったでしょう。
But, you know, Shiki did throw down the ultimatum, so.
でも、おあいにくさまでしたね。私はまだ戦えます。だって彼を
Alright,
無
alright,
関
you
係な
little
人
fucking
々を
Siggy
守る
no
のは
Mikata.
私の役目なんですから。
Read the lines.
先輩
Her breathing is ragged. Her clothes are soaked in blood. And she still puts on a brave front, trying desperately to protect me.
あなたも下がってください。
I mean, I think
こ
anyone's
こは私が。
clothes would be soaked in blood if they, you know, fell on this ground.
あもう下がるのは先輩の方だいいから休んでろここは俺が何とかするから
Yeah, just go
でもありがと
sit
う
down on the bench
大好
over
きです
there.
先輩
I scramble to put myself in front of Ciel. I must think I'm invincible. I wouldn't even flinch if Arcuid glowered at me with those golden eyes again. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done.
待ってください。無理ですから。
So we're doing like the DBZ like instant transmission thing where we're just
遠野くんじゃ
like teleporting
Arcuid に
behind
殺
each
さ
other,
れ
but
ちゃい
this
ま
time
す。
in front of each other.
ここをなんとかするのは私の方ですよ。
そんな傷で何言ってるんですかいいから下がってほらここで意地を張るのは俺の役目です
守るってでも
We grab at each other's shoulders and shuffle back and forth, fighting over who gets to stand in front of the other. It's like we're performing a little dance. I don't know what's gotten into us. It's actually kind of fun. Not fun for everyone, though. You know, no one likes the third wheel. A certain onlooker trembles with fury as she watches our friendly bickering.
何よバカ。もういい。式なんて知らない。そんなにシエルが大事なら勝手にすれば。私もう助けてあげないから。
アルクエイ
No,
ド
we can hang out tomorrow.
いい。私帰る。
Okay.
言っておくけど、その女はあなたが思っているような真っ当な人間じゃないから。利用されて絞り取られて薄皮一枚にまでなればいいわ。
Oh, sick! Let's go! I hope so too. Arcuid shouts at me angrily and turns away in a huff.
なんだよそれお前だってさっき物騒なこと言ってたじゃないか俺を自分のものにするとかなんとか
私は隠し事はしないもん。式が好きって言っただけよ。
You were very upfront, and we
じゃあね、
appreciate that. You're
後
very
で
honest with
私
your
に泣き
feelings.
ついても聞いてあげないから。せいぜい血を吸われないよう気をつけることね。
Arcuid, still clearly upset, leaps up out of the park like a shooting star darting across the night sky. Yep. Everything unfolded a little too quickly for me to wrap my head around. Ciel and I look up into the darkness that swallowed Arcuid, dumbfounded.
星になってしまいましたね、彼女。
Yep, make a wish.
星というよりロケットっぽかったですけど
More like an intercontinental ballistic missile, because the rocket just goes up. No, she's coming back down somewhere. The two of us blankly share the first words that come to mind.
そうじゃなくて、なんて無茶をするんですか、遠野くんは。
Hey, man, it
シン
worked.
ソと戦おうとするなんて自殺願望にも程があります。
I mean, he wasn't taking her on. He was just, you know, rolling persuasion. Ciel lectures me with her hands on my shoulders. I don't object. She's absolutely right.
そうでしたね 今でも背中すげえ冷たいです。あいつやるときは本当用じゃないから。
Well, also correct.
先輩が
そこまで分かっていてどうして。
だって先輩を放っておけないし。その
Just go a little bit more.
改めてありがとう
Add
ござい
a
ます
little more
先
to
輩
it, you know, while you're at it.
俺
You
の
know,
ために
when
戦ってくれ
late
たので
night at the park,
わかります。
alone in front of the fountain.
は
No,
い
you could lay it on a little
お
thick.
礼を言うなら
It's allowed.
私もでした。遠野くんがいなかったらどうなっていたかわからなかったです。
She would have turned you into hamburger meat and then done it again. Ciel shyly looks down at her feet. Neither of us knows what to say. We've gotten very close to one another. When we aren't touching, I can feel her body heat tickling my skin. Oh, you guys are real close.
先ほどは意地を張ってごめんなさい。遠野くんを困らせるつもりじゃなかったんです。
Yeah, no, that was real immature of both of you.
さっきのってアルクエイドのこと。
そうじゃなくてお屋敷から公園までのこととか、
I mean, that was just silly, but
昼間の茶道室のこととか。
that was partly his fault, but you were also being really stubborn. I'm the one who should be apologizing for all that. But if I do, Ciel will only get even more apologetic. If she says that she wants to apologize, I should just listen. Maybe this means we can be friends again. That's all I want.
そうですね。じゃあ喧嘩両成敗ってことで仲直りしてください。
そうですか。そんなことでいいなら喜んで。
Yeah, the brainwashing program you put in me makes it say that I like it like that, so I do. Her head bowed. Ciel pulls her glasses out from somewhere and puts them back on.
それより先輩、
No, she's fine.
体は大丈夫ですか？
I take a step back to look over Ciel's body. She was bleeding out on the ground just now, so if we don't take care of that soon...
あれ？
Oh, it's gone. The blood that had pooled around her on the pavement, and the blood that had stained her habits. It's all gone.
遠野くん、これは。
そっか。先輩はあれぐらいの傷なんともないんでしたっけ？
It just kind of went
ブローブの
back
時なん
in.
てもっと深い傷を受けてたし、並大抵のことならあいつみたいにすぐに治
Not
っ
quite.
て。
It's a little different. I'm such an idiot. Escaping mortal danger made me careless. Careless enough to bring up a subject I've been unconsciously avoiding until now. She's just like a vampire. After all, she has true immortality. That girl isn't half the decent human being you think she is. At least try not to get your blood sucked. I'm trying to get some other things sucked, if you know what I mean. I push those words into the recesses of my subconscious. But it seems that my silence has spoken loudly enough. Yeah, the fact that you reacted that way to the thing you said, like, oops, I shouldn't have said that. I said the thing I wasn't supposed to say, implies that you already know. Versus an off-the-cuff comment that just so happens to land on the truth, but without you knowing.
いや、でもあれだよな。ハルクイドのやつもデタラメなことばっかり言うよな。先輩が俺の血を吸うなんて、そんなこと絶対にありえないのに。
Yeah, there's no way that would happen. Not in a million years. I mean, Ciel walks around during the day. Sure, Arcuid does too, but even she's weaker when it's light out. Ciel doesn't change day or night. Besides, she's a member of the church. It's not like they hire a vampire to go vampire hunting.
取り繕わないでいいです。私の体のこと、ノエル先生から聞いたんですね。
I mean, I can't say the word yes. Not out of consideration for Ciel, but out of my own desire to turn a blind eye to reality.
ノエル先生のおかげで目が覚めました。質問の続きです。
どうして私をかばったんですか？アルクエドが本気であなたを殺すつもりだったのは分か
Look,
っ
you
てい
just
た
got
は
a
ず
thing
な
for
のに。
vampire girls. That's it. That's all it is. It's not that deep. There's no emotion in Ciel's eyes. It's as if they're a doll's eyes, empty and unseeing.
どうしてって。さっき
Well,
も
yeah,
言
now
ったで
she's
しょ。
kind of going in autopilot mode.
先輩が殺されかけたんです。誰だってかばいます。
自分が殺されるというのに。献身とは自分の命を投げ出すことではありません。自分の
I
命
know,
をない
I
がしろ
know,
にして他
I
者の
know,
命を
I
救お
know.
う
I
という
played
のは
Fate Stay Night. I know,
献
I
身
know
でも
about
犠牲でも
heroism.
な
I
く
know, I know, I know.
ただの自己愛です。あなたはただ自分が後悔したくなかっただけ。それだけであんな真似をして満足しています。はっきり言ってすごく迷惑です。
Yeah, save those words for another idiot, and then give him, you know, a red cool outfit to go over
正
his
しく生きようと
futuristic
する
body
のは
armor.
立
Why
派です
don't you?
が、あなたの身勝手な正しさに私を巻き込まないでください。
Shroud of whatever. There's so many shrouds at this point. I can't remember which ones archers and which ones like Karens and stuff.
それは。
There's nothing I can say. She's right. I didn't think things through. I was so focused on saving her that the thought of how to deal with Arcuate afterwards never crossed my mind. I never stopped to consider what Ciel wanted. She's got every right to say that, but
それでも先輩を守りたかったんです。それが迷惑だって言うんですか。
a little annoying.
先
But,
輩はあのままアルクエイドに殺されていてもよかったって。
I mean, she would have got better.
私の
Even
命
if
なん
she
です
killed
か
her.
ら、あなたにどうこう言われるものではないはずです。いえ、死んだ方がまだマシでした。吸血鬼にお情けで見逃されて生き延びるなんて無様すぎます。
Humiliating? She'd rather have died. I can't make any sense of that whatsoever.
自分の命を何だと思ってるんですか、先輩は。死んだらそれまでなんですよ。どんなにひどくてどんなにみっともないことをしてでも生きていられるのなら生きるべきです。
People die when they're killed. Don't you know?
だって生きていなくちゃ何もないじゃないですか。無様だから何だって言うんです。どんなに情けなくても何もなくなるよりずっと何倍もいい。俺は先輩を守りたかった。死んでほしくなかった。先輩と一緒にまた作動室にいたかったんです。
Mm-hmm. Yeah, be that little worm down in the mud, even if it is pathetic and humiliating. Just, hey man, just trying to get by. Everyone's just trying to get by. I know I should stay calm, but I can't hold back the swell of emotion in my chest. I'm an idiot. Ciel and I just made up, and here I am yelling at her again.
そうでしたね。あなたは7年前に一度死にかけた人でした。だからそんな単純な考えで幸せな人。
Hmm?
そんな言葉、私には言えません。
Yeah, you didn't have to live in the torture basement. Ciel steps away from me, her eyes hollow. Even though I could reach out and touch her, she feels impossibly far away.
アルクエイドが言っていたことは本当です。彼女の言う通り、私は人間とは呼べません。遠野くんも見たでしょ。さっきまであんなにこぼれていた血が、まるでなかったことのように消え去っているのを。
You're not gonna do the knife trick, are you?
それは。
いいんです。私、化け物なんです。私は吸血種ではありませんが、
You're something
普
close,
通
though.
の人間らしい体ではないのも事実
The
ですから。
weird pseudo in between,
何
which now I just wanna rewatch Bakemonogatari.
先輩。人間らしい体って。
Oh, she's gonna do the trick.
ですか。
先輩。
Ow. Don't have the time to stop her. She slits her throat with one of her swords. Hear a dull scraping as the blade cuts through her flesh and carotid artery. A wet splash. A vibrant scarlet fills my vision. You really had to get one with a lot of spray, huh? Blood gushes from her neck. It smells of iron, of life itself. The primary color hurts to look at. It's beautiful, threatening to rob me of my sight, my entire consciousness. The fresh blood seeps into her black habit. It's more of a navy blue. Beneath that habit, the red liquid runs over Ciel's pale skin, must be growing thicker, like a serpent coiling around her body, running down her succulent curves. Splat. A drop of blood lands on my finger. The sensation snaps me back to reality. Ciel is bleeding out in front of me.
Senpai!
Like, oh geez, put a handkerchief over it. I rush forward, wiping away the blood splattered on me.
慌てる必要はありません。ほら。
Yeah, she only made sure to get the artery, not her windpipe, so she can still talk and explain, you know, kind of talk you through it. It'd be even more traumatizing if it was like gurgling and foaming, you know, as she's trying to describe what's happening. She pulls the sword away from her neck. Schlorp. Her wound is already closed. Not only that, all the blood that spurted out of the wound is disappearing. This is beyond healing, beyond regeneration. This ability is even greater than Vlov's. I'm speechless. I have absolutely nothing to say in response to what I just witnessed.
はい。この通りです。できることなら、遠野くんには知られたくなかったですけど。
Ciel grins bitterly. I still don't know what to say, even when faced with that smile. Yeah, that was a lot. That's kind of heavy.
昼間のことは謝らなくていいんです。
It's already been a long night. That's a lot to drop on his plate. Couldn't have done this like tomorrow? Like after we've kind of calmed down a little?
私はあなたのことを騙していました。あんな風に怒られても、それは仕方のないことなんです。
そんなことは。
Why can't I finish that sentence? No matter what kind of person she is, or what kind of body she has, even if it turns out she was a vampire all along, Ciel would still be extremely important to me. So why?
本当はもっと距離を取る予定だったんです。ただの顔見知りとかそれぐらいの。そうすればあなたの方から話しかけてくることも、
It's complicated, bud.
こんな風
Self-esteem
に
issues are,
嫌われることもなかった。
you know, they're tricky to unravel, and they don't always
けど
make
いいんで
sense.
す。今までのことを後悔はし
You
てい
know,
ませ
from
ん
an。outside perspective.
遠野くんが私との思い出が楽しかったって、守りたかったと言ってくれて嬉しかった。
先輩。
I only said that because those truly were the best of times. I wish they could have gone on forever.
さよなら。
Oh, just fade out? My final message. Goodbye. And then it plays the Windows noise as she fades away. Ciel smiles, gently as always, then disappears before my eyes. She remains Arcuwood's polar opposite to the end. Arcuwood flew away like a shooting star, but I don't even see Ciel's back as she leaves. Yeah, how do you do that? Can you just turn invisible? Or was that one of those, like, perception blocking things where you're just like, okay, now make it so he can't perceive me, and just kind of, whoop, just walk away. That's some real Batman shit. The inside of my head is churning violently. I couldn't chase after Ciel if I tried. Arcuwood called Ciel a vampire. And Ciel didn't deny it. She even showed me definitive proof of it. She could have lied. Even if I saw right through it, I wish she would have told me it wasn't true. Goodbye. I don't need to think about what that means. I learned what Ciel really was. I heard her. And even then, she still came to see me. But now that's all over. In a matter of minutes, I lost everything because of one careless remark. My mind isn't working. What is it that I lost? What is causing me this pain? A story some woman called Noelle told me? An accusation by Arcuid? A slit throat that proved it was all true? Or is it the voice in the back of my head? I have a headache. Self-loathing clings to the inside of my lungs like mud. I feel like throwing up. I feel like some invasive plant is growing inside my head. It hurts so much that I can't think. I can't cope with the reality of never seeing Ciel again. I leave the park, my steps feeble, my memory hazy. Ow. Ow. Buddy's taking damage over time. He must have got, like, poisoned or something. You gotta cleanse that, bud. Take an antidote. Ugh. I'm exhausted. The weed in my brain has grown into a thicket of tangled thorns, creaking and groaning as it tightens around my non-functioning gray matter. I tumble heavily into bed. An ominous darkness creeps closer and closer, looming over my shoulder. Girl. Blue girl. White girl. But the faces that come to mind are now no different from the ones I saw this morning. With that final thought, I close my eyes. My want is to go to sleep like a brain-dead scarecrow. Bro, he's just like me for real when I wake up at 3 a.m. and just want to go back to sleep. But, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we'll end it here for today, because we're getting real long in the tooth. And if we stay for this dream sequence, we'll be over 2.5 hours, which I don't like to do. So, with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, check out the Discord in the description down below, and I will see y'all later for the next episode of Tsukihime Remake, where we will reconvene and have a Roa flashback, and then advance further into the Ciel route, and have Noelle probably twist the knife and like try to manipulate him even more, because she's a real toxic bitch like that, but I forgive her because she's cute. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. See you guys later now. Bye-bye.